Squishy, squishy.
What do they look up on YouTube? City of Charlotte? How is it in there?
City of Charlotte live stream, I think.
Cheers. Will we be live tonight?
Why am I not seeing?
If you can't, this chair is like, this chair is terrible, isn't it? I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna go. I know.
Is it the full word Michigan or just MI?
He didn't tell me.
I'm looking for it. I'm not seeing it. This meeting of the City of Charlotte Planning Commission for March 3rd, 2026 will come to order. Clerk, please call the roll. Present.
Here.
Present? Different one.
What did you say?
Garrett.
Garrett, present.
Christensen,
Present.
Lester,
Present.
Barrett,
Present.
Hartwick.
Present.
I'd now invite all in attendance to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll now look at the approval of minutes. Firstly, we will look at the minutes from December 2nd, 2025. This was 2 meetings ago. Are there any notes, errors, omissions, or any other comments about the minutes?
So move adoption.
Support.
All right, there's a motion for approval of the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes stand approved. We now take a look at the minutes from the meeting of Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. Again, if there are errors, omissions, or other comments related to these minutes, please state those now. If none, I would accept a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve?
Support.
She was in there a little quicker than you. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes stand approved. Item 5, excuse of absent members. I don't think we need to do that because Michaela snuck in here, so we're all here. Okay, excellent. So we move on to item 6. This is the early public comment. Please limit presentations to 5 minutes. Stand at the podium, state your name and whether you're a resident of the city of Charlotte, and address us on a topic related to the Planning Commission. The podium is now open. And that so ends our early public comment period. No one apparently wanting to comment in the early period. We move on to item 7, approval of the agenda. I have one note, but I'll hear if anybody else has a note or a comment on the agenda before we move to approve it.
Are we allowed to add things to the agenda, or is it too late?
It depends on what it is, I would imagine. I don't know that we can just add things that, especially if it requires staff input that they're not prepared for. What'd you have in mind?
I can wait till commissioner comments, that's fine.
Okay. My item, so we have the election of a chairperson, election of a vice chairperson. There's no provision for the election of a secretary. Last time we did this, my understanding was Michigan state law requires us to have a secretary, even though they have no powers or responsibilities, but that the statute that governs planning commissions requires them to have a secretary. Can anyone confirm?
Say that too.
Okay, so can we add an item 9A for the election of a honorary secretary of the planning commission?
I was the secretary for the last year.
Yes. We do have it, but do we have to elect one now then? If we're electing our other officers? Do it all. Okay, so we will have an election of the secretary in addition to that of chairperson and vice chairperson as an additional item there for our officer elections. Okay, with that added in there, I would now take a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
So moved.
Support.
Support, okay. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. Now we move on to the election of the chairperson. I would now accept nominations to be the chair of the Planning Commission. Any member may nominate any other member, as far as I know, including yourself. Are there nominations?
I would like to nominate James McCray as the chairperson for the Planning Commission.
Second.
Thank you. I'd accept your nomination. Are there other nominations? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote to elect the chairperson. A majority of the commission needing to vote in favor for the chairperson to be elected. So go ahead and call the roll for the election of James McCray as chair of the Planning Commission.
Snyder. Garrett.
Yes.
Bliven. Christensen.
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Barrett.
Yes.
Hartwick. McCray.
Yes. Okay, that was fairly painless. All right, I don't have to give the gavel up right away. I don't know. Here we go. All right, election of the vice chairperson. I would like to nominate Commissioner Barrett.
Okay, thank you.
Second that.
Willing to serve if elected.
Any other nominations for the position of vice chair? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote for Commissioner Barrup as vice chairperson.
Snyder?
Yes.
Garrett?
Yes.
Livin? Christensen?
Yes.
Lester?
Yes.
Barrup?
Yes.
Hartwick?
Yes.
McCray?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and now for the position of secretary, again, this is an honorary position. It carries no duties or responsibilities. Do we have any nominations?
I'll nominate Commissioner Snyder.
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a nomination for Commissioner Snyder. Any other nominations? All right, we'll take a roll call vote to elect Commissioner Snyder again as secretary of the Planning Commission.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, we have our officers for the year. Excellent. Now, we move on to item 10, temporary use permit, 1167 East Clinton Trail. Tiger, you gonna talk us through this one? I know we've done this time and time again, but.
Sure, I think, is it year 17? Is that right? Something like that? 19 maybe? So, there we got up on the screen, just the site drawing. Same spot as always. We've had no history of any complaints or issues. We spoke with the police department, they have no issue with anything. Obviously, with the fire department, we worked through. With the fire department, we worked through any of the issues that if we actually receive a complaint or something like that, but we've never had anything in the past. We would recommend approval of it.
Does anyone, it looks like we've got some folks present from TNT, representing TNT, is that right? Does the commission have any questions for the representatives?
Good evening. Thanks again for the opportunity. I want to give a shout out to New Hope Community Church too. They've ran it for over 20 years, I believe, 19 going on with me, and just appreciate the opportunity to work in your community.
I do have, I guess, one quick question. So on the temporary use permit application, which I'm trying to find here, it says, so name TNT Fireworks / New Hope Community Church. Who is the responsible party, would we say? Was it TNT or is it New Hope Community Church?
We are, yeah, TNT is responsible for that, but they are the ones that staff it. Like they are the ones that are watching and
Right.
that kind of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, they work under our umbrella as far as the insurance and such goes.
Got it. Any other questions or comments from the commission?
I have a comment when the time is right.
Okay. If there are no other questions, then we'd move on to the actual action on the temporary use permit, 1167 East Clinton Trail. So if you folks turn to that item here, I'll read the resolution. So by adopting this resolution, the commission is affirming that everything in this resolution is accurate. So a resolution approving a temporary use permit for a fireworks tent at Meyer Parking Lot, 1167 Clinton Trail. Whereas the City of Charlotte has received a request for a temporary use permit for the operation of a fireworks sales tent to be located in the Meyer Parking Lot at 1167 East Clinton Trail from June 19th, 2026 to July 6th, 2026. And whereas this location has hosted fireworks sales for multiple years without any reported issues and no concerns have been raised regarding the operation during that time. And whereas the Charlotte Police Department has reviewed the proposed permit and expressed no concerns regarding public safety or security, and whereas the Charlotte Fire Department will conduct a fire safety inspection contingent upon the approval of this permit to ensure the safety of the operation, and whereas all signage associated with the fireworks sales tent will comply with the city's zoning code regulations, and whereas the application ensures that adequate parking will remain available for customers and the proposed use will not impair the health, safety, or welfare of the public. And whereas, based on the review of the proposal and history of successful operation of fireworks sales at this location, city staff recommends approval of the temporary use permit. And whereas a representative from this business is expected to be present at the upcoming Planning Commission meeting to answer any questions or provide any additional information as needed. Now, therefore, be Be it resolved that Charlotte Planning Commission hereby approves the temporary use permit for a fireworks tent to be located in Mark Parking Lot 1167 East Clinton Trail from June 19th to July 6th, 2026, contingent upon the fire department's fire safety inspection and compliance with all applicable zoning regulations. Is there a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Make a motion.
So moved. Support.
My comment has not to do with the merit of the proposal, but rather to point out, to remind the commission, this may be the last time we vote on something like this. With the zoning changes we've recommended to city council, go to the administrative review committee. So just that comment. Thank you.
Thank you, and that's a good point to make, that this feels pretty pro forma for us at this point, and we are, going forward, this type of thing might be moved on to the committee, depending on whether or not that gets adopted in the final zoning regulations by council. Other questions before we move to vote? Okay, I'm going to take a voice vote on this one. All in favor of approving the resolution as read?
Aye.
Say aye. Any opposed? Resolution stands approved.
Thank you.
Okay. Site plan review, 440 Spring Street.
Do I need to give my address? Sometimes people ask for that.
It would be helpful if you introduced yourself for our benefit.
Sure. My name is Caroline Kimmel. I'm with Commonwealth Development. We're a developer that's based in Madison, Wisconsin, headquartered in Fond du Lac, technically. We also have some other developments here in Michigan. We are a multifamily, affordable, and workforce housing developer. Our other Michigan developments are in Grand Rapids and Manistee, so this would be our first time on this side of the state, but hoping to continue to develop in Michigan. This development is a new construction development of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments for residents earning 30 to 70% area median income, so it's really mixed income housing. It's not Section 8. It's really truly workforce housing with rents that will remain affordable for people earning anywhere from $21,000 a year all the way up to $76,000 a year for a family of 5 that would be living in a 3-bedroom apartment. Included in this development is an on-site management office. So we will hire a manager that's based in Michigan. We use the Associated Management Company here in Michigan. They're a large Michigan-based property manager that will have someone on site daily to be there for the residents and be stationed in that clubhouse. The clubhouse will also include a fitness center and kind of a resident community area, a picnic and grilling area, and then we'll have a dog park and a playground as well. So what we're seeking is just kind of preliminary site plan approval. This is very preliminary at this time. We are submitting an application on April 1st to MSHDA, which for those who don't know is the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. And part of that application requires that we seek a preliminary site plan approval. So after all of this, after we submit our application, we will hire a civil engineer and come back through site plan approval again for that final site plan approval. So this is just kind of preliminary. Do you like the idea? Do you want anything to change? And kind of and for me to answer any other questions that you might have about the development in general.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tiger, do you want to add anything here before we let the commission jump in?
Nothing really to add, I mean, besides the letter, but again, for the public's sake, we'll just kind of go through it. Obviously, the planning commission has the authority to review a site plan, and it spells it out pretty clearly what you're looking at. The obvious big things that the city looks at right away, is this a permitted use, and it is. So this particular parcel of property is already zoned. This must be battery dying. Come up here. That particular parcel is already zoned RM2, so this is just, again, a permitted use within that zone district. Obviously, we reached out to the other departments in in the city. DPW submitted a letter there. There's some current concern with obviously where the city goes in development-wise, but being 60 units is relatively low on the spectrum of how much sewage is going to be produced as well as water usage. So we feel very confident that we can work through those, and this is, again, something that then will let the city start growing. We'll have to upgrade systems as we go. Traffic, obviously, this is a side street that would probably need to be looked at in the future if this development happens. The police chief advised, and there's been accidents with left turns coming off Sumter onto Lansing Road. So just something very simple, but part of a traffic control plan would include probably a right turn only onto off of Sumter onto Lansing. Parking's very good, meets all the zoning requirements, the aisle widths, all that. The landscaping and greenbelt space, this was the second site plan that was submitted. They did some very considerable improvements to that. They've indicated that the majority of the trees that are not in the actual area that's being developed, those will stay. So the mature trees will stay, what can stay there. One thing that we would ask on anything like this moving forward on the zoning aspect is actually a list of what types of plants are then planted. So what is approved, we have a list moving forward. And as you know, we've had other areas in town that after 20 years, the plants aren't there anymore. They've died or been moved or whatever it may be, and we have no real indication or a way to go make sure those are replanted. That would allow us to. Fire department-wise, we're not concerned really at all. We've looked at it. We'll make recommendations, but talk to them. A site like that, if there's only one hydrant, even though the building's sprinklered, but if the fire's on the outside and that hydrant is out of service, we have an issue. So we just look at a second hydrant just in case one gets backed over or whatever it may be. Other than that, based on this conceptual drawing, we would recommend it move forward and then work with all the departments for final approval, obviously through the permitting process.
So they were saying that this is a preliminary site plan approval, so would the idea be that they would then come back before the commission with a, like, finalized site plan that would include some of those elements that we have questions or concerns of, or is this it, and then they'll just work administratively from there?
The plan would be just work administratively from here.
Okay.
So this would be the look that you guys get at what's being developed, and then, again, have the departments within the city make sure that their permitting side's consistent as well as the ordinances that we have in place. If something were to arise and change drastically, that would be the only time that it probably comes back to the planning commission.
So if we want to, like, we've got an opinion, like we want no Bartlett pear trees or something like that, this is our opportunity to add that into
is
the
correct.
site plan. Okay.
Should I write that down?
That was hypothetical only. We'll see what people want to add here. So folks, this, based on what Tiger said, this is our kind of bite at the apple here. So if you haven't had a chance, I would recommend, like, very quickly looking through this. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to look through it already. There are some nice drawings here of the proposed buildings and a nice map of the location. Hopefully everybody kind of knows where this is at. I guess I do have a few questions if you're willing, but does anyone else have any questions?
I've got.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and we'll just go down the line. I'm going to speak last. I feel like as commissioner, that's what I should do. So we'll just go Christensen, Barrett, down this way. Give us what you got.
Thank you for coming and explaining and bringing all the different forms you did so we can see everything. I do have a few questions and concerns, only because we do have currently an apartment complex in town that does not stand up to what it needs to be. So I'm really fearful, and it's not very old, so I'm very fearful of other complexes coming in. Will you be ADA accessible?
Yes, we will have 9 units that are fully accessible to persons with disabilities. And then all of the first floor units are adaptable, which means that the layout is such that some simple changes could be made at no cost to the resident to make those units fully accessible.
Okay, and it says 3-story. So I'm assuming there's going to be 3 levels, or it's going to be like a townhouse where there's a basement, middle level, upstairs?
No, it'll be 3 levels.
Okay. Elevators at that point then, or stairs only?
Nope, those will be walk-ups.
Okay. I I guess one of my questions, I do have a couple other questions, but one of my questions for Tiger would be, can our water plant handle having that many units? I mean, I know we're already doing some revamping on some of our pipes and water main breaks on Lansing Road and stuff. I'm just curious, are we good to go for something like that?
Sure, so some of this development has sparked, obviously, interest within the city, and the staff obviously wants development here. That's what I think everybody does in Shalat. However, that is also brought up where the DPW has already commenced. If you watched the last planning commission meeting, studies are being done. We feel very confident, just with my knowledge of the city, that this isn't gonna set us back anyplace.
Okay.
This will just start setting the tone. We have to get the numbers to continue to grow. The studies have to be done, but with 60 apartments, you're talking like under 10,000 gallons a day of usage in sewer usage.
Okay.
And when we're talking a 2 million gallon system a day with that capabilities, we're very good there still.
I mean, being on a committee that deals with housing for the county and then being on DDA, I understand that we need housing in our community desperately. So I am all about this, but like I said, there's just fear, concerns. Kind of a little off topic, what would be included with the rent? Anything?
So included with the rent is water and sewer and trash.
Okay.
So residents are not responsible for paying water, sewer, or trash. That's covered by the property. Residents will be responsible for their electric and gas.
Okay.
So we are planning on gas heat here, unless there's strong feelings about that. It's just generally more cost-effective for the residents. Gas is cheaper than electric.
And I see you have a fenced-in dog park area, yay. So I'm assuming you're obviously going to accept pets, which is a bonus.
Correct.
All right, I think that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
First of all, to the presenter, thank you for your interest in the city of Charlotte. We are grateful and we appreciate it. I had a question for our community development director. How is this, are you satisfied with this in terms of our meeting our affordable housing goals for the community?
Yeah, this directly targets what we're looking for in an area we want to see development. The Housing Committee's also seen this and has their stamp of approval on it, so we're just excited to see some development. And this greatly aligns with MSHA's objectives for the funding they're looking at targeting.
Thank you.
Me now? Okay, cool. One, just a typo on your proposed scheme number 1, we're in Michigan, not Minnesota.
I know. That's Ben's fault. He's sorry.
So a curiosity question, you're taking up 40, 50, 60%. There's some in the back. Is there a thought for a phase 2?
There's always a thought for a phase 2.
Okay.
Generally, we're trying to cut down the fewest number of trees possible, which is why we have everything kind of as condensed as we can while still providing enough green space. But yes, if this were to lease up quickly and there's demand for more units, then there's no reason why we couldn't do a phase 2.
So then it's a secondary follow-up question toward Tiger is, I'm assuming when we do the water distribution studies, et cetera, maybe we would double the anticipated people per type of thing to ensure that if they're, thinking about future of expansion, that we're not just looking at today, but then tomorrow as well.
That's correct. The DPW is looking more of a citywide
Okay.
study, not just specifically for this area. Just to give a little background though, the Lansing Road Lift Station services a lot, not just right in this area. It actually services the North Industrial Park and then also Sandstone. So that's why that lift station is very important to the city, and it's realistically the second most used one.
No, I think for me that was the majority of my questions. So more just on the future capacity of it. So I think I'm good.
Any more questions on this side of the table here? Go for it.
You said that there's not going to be any elevators, there's only going to be steps, and it's going to be 3 stories, correct?
Yes.
What are you, and this may or may not be part of what we asked, but what are you planning to do for handicap accessibility
So all of the units on the first floor of all the buildings will be accessible, and then the clubhouse and all the amenities, indoor and outdoor, will also be accessible. But that's correct, the second and third floor units will not be accessible.
Okay, so therefore you cannot rent those out to a handicapped person, correct?
Correct.
Okay, since there's not going to be a basement, and I know there's a Michigan requirement as far as if there's tornadoes, so what would you do, say, if there was a tornado warning?
Well, I mean, residents obviously would have use of their personal apartments. Going in the bathroom is normally recommended. I don't know if, Ben, you can speak a little bit to kind of the wind rating or anything of those buildings.
Yeah, they're designed to, I think, a 90-mile-an-hour wind rating, is Michigan code requirements, so that's required for structures.
Okay,
And just clarification, that would all be part of the building code. However, just like anything else, it's the lowest level that you can go in the interior room. I mean, that's just a standard thing across the board.
yeah, I knew there was something, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was. I guess that's it.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions. I guess I'll start with the geographic stuff and then some of the, just kind of the structure of the plan development. So obviously we're accessing here off of Spring Street. I'm not exactly sure where it goes from Spring to Sumter, but my guess is where it kind of makes that bend there, just past Eaton Car Care. There's no existing structure there now, right? So that part of the property is just already, when you bought that parcel, that little access point was part of it. And so you'll, just drive the road right through there. If we do what was recommended by the Charlotte Police, and we say it's right turn only from Sumter onto Lansing Road, anybody who wants to go north on Lansing presumably will take a right out of the development and go down Spring Street to Hall Street, and then they'll take a left at Hall, and then they'll take a left at Lansing Road. Once you get farther west onto Spring Street and you make that curve south, that's not paved, right? That's a gravel road at that point. Is there any thought about, and you kind of maybe alluded to it, about paving that part of Spring Street as part of this to, because there's almost certainly going to be significantly more traffic on that road?
That would be a question for DPW Director Whitney, but I would assume, again, once development happens, things like that will improve.
Right.
I think it was said in the council meeting that you have to have the use of something to get the growth of something. You don't.
Yeah, so I guess my question is there any precedent to asking the developer to help contribute to that, since it would be a benefit to the developer, I would presume, to have that paved as part of the, our approval here, that it'd be contingent on them contributing 20, 30, 40, 50% of the cost of paving Spring Street all the way through.
Be all for the question being asked. I just don't know the answer.
Okay.
It's definitely something that's come up in the past. It's something we can work through. I don't know about 50%, but we'll be paying tap fees for water and sewer. We'll be paying frontage fees if those exist. And so if there's additional work that needs to get done as a result of the development, then that's certainly something we can talk about at a future date if this does move forward.
Okay. Explain to me, again, I forgive my ignorance. I don't know a whole lot about the kind of legal procedures for, I guess I won't call it low income, but reduced income housing. So my presumption here is that you're going through MISHDA. Are you getting a grant from them basically so that they say if you offer housing at a reduced, rate for residents of, less than median income, you get a grant from MISHDA for doing that, or how does that work?
Sure. So basically the way it works is if you think of like a traditional mortgage is like a 20% down payment. I mean, sort of, it used to be 20% down payment and 80% is debt. With affordable housing, it's flipped. So there's a huge there's a very small debt put on these projects, and then there's a lot of equity that comes in. The equity is what actually comes from MSHDA. So MSHDA gives us tax credits, and just think of those as like a certificate. And we turn around and we sell those tax credits to an investor. So investors in Michigan, you've got like Sinair, CREA, some of the other like larger banks that are based in Ohio and Indiana invest in Michigan a lot. So we sell those tax credits to a bank. They write those off as a tax write-off at the end of the year to reduce their taxable income, and they give us cash in exchange, and that's how these actually get built. So those tax credits, that's actually cash that comes from a bank. MSHDA is giving us the credits, but like technically it's not MSHDA's money. It's actually coming from private banks.
Okay, so there's kind of, as there always is when you talk about financial services, there's a bit of a shell game here, but ultimately this is a way for you guys to generate some cash to be able to fund the development.
And that's our incentive and our requirement then is to keep those rents capped at a certain percentage of median income. So because we have such a low mortgage payment, because we have such a small amount of debt, we're then able to pay our mortgage with charging less rent, as opposed to like a high-end conventionally financed development where you would maybe have 75 to 80% debt.
And you're confident that this will go through, that you'll be able to get those? Or
I can never give you 100% confidence. It's very, very competitive. Michigan especially is very competitive, and they typically don't fund, this is considered rural, and they don't fund more than like 3 or 4 rural deals. But last year, I believe, or last round, the rural scores were between like 97 and 100, I think. And this one scores 103 points. So we do feel confident that it's competitive. I can't stand here on the record and give you a yes, it will for sure happen, but we don't submit an I mean, it costs us about $20,000 to $25,000 to submit an application. So we're not going to spend that money unless we have a high level of confidence that it will be funded.
You got some skin in the game already, so,
Yes.
okay. But presumably this is then contingent on this being approved, so. Like,
Absolutely.
If they come back and say, sorry, we can't do this, that nixes the whole thing, because that's how you get the money to put shovels in the ground.
Correct.
And so walk me through again, what was exactly the income level that you're looking for here, and like was percentage of the median income of the area?
Right, so this will capture 30 to 70% area median income. So we've got, 60 units, and that's kind of spread out. A majority of those units are between 50 and 70% area median income. So 50% area median income for a one-person household in Eaton County is $35,000. 50% for a 4-person household, or technically even a 5-person household could live in a 3-bedroom, that's $54,000. So, like I said, it could go as low as $21,000, it could go as high as $75,000, depending on how many people are living in the household.
So yeah, it's all based on household size and then family income for all earners in the family combined.
That's correct.
So, if somebody who applies, somebody walks in the office door and says, well, I'm interested in living here, and they say, okay, fill this out. They fill out their income. If their income is higher than what's here, you just say, you just deny their application and say you're not really eligible to live here because this is, okay. And what is I guess, so you said it goes up to 75,000, and then what would be the lowest end that would be?
So one person, 30% household would be $21,000.
21,000, okay.
But I think something important to note is you have to be able to prove your income, whatever that is. That includes any kind of additional payment on top of your salary. So if someone's getting like child support payments, that counts as income. And so every year you have to recertify. So you have to resubmit your income annually in order to stay there and be able to pay these reduced rents. So, if someone loses their job, can't pay their rent, we of course have programs that we can help kind of bridge that gap. You're not immediately kicked out. You certainly get a chance to work with us on that. But yes, you have to be able to prove your income.
And presumably it works the other way too. If somebody gets a big raise, promotion at work, all of a sudden their income goes above the threshold. That's great, but now you got to find a different place to live.
And they're not kicked out until their lease is over. So it's not like you get a raise at work and you're immediately homeless. That doesn't happen.
Right. Okay. Thank you for answering those questions. I appreciate it.
Sure. Anything else?
One quick question. In a perfect world, When would you like this project to be done?
I would say in a perfect world, we would try to get started spring of next year. So about this time, as soon as we can get shovels in the ground. And a build time on something like this is about 15 months. So you're looking at summer of 2028. Summer is a great time to have apartments ready to go. So obviously being in Michigan, if we can get shovels in the ground in the spring, that's our best chance to be vertical by the time winter comes.
Okay, thank you. And thanks again for your interest in Charlotte.
Of course, thanks for having us. Everyone has been wonderful so far and super easy to work with. I wish it was like this everywhere because it's not always.
Other questions on the commission before we move on to taking action? I'm trying to, got too much stuff here. Is there a resolution for this? Okay, and does someone have a copy of it that they can show me? Because I lost mine.
24. He doesn't have his order.
Here, James.
Thank you. Okay. So we are now taking action on 440 Spring Street. I'm going to read this resolution. We have to affirm that this resolution, and then any other things that we want to add in, we could amend the resolution to include those things there. So if there's, again, you're on the No Bartlett Pear Crusade, once I kind of read this and we're considering it, then that's the time to add amendments to the resolution. So a resolution to approve site plan for 440 Spring Street. Whereas the City of Charlotte Planning Commission is authorized under Chapter 82, Section 4982 of the Charlotte City Code to review and approve site plans for developments within the city, and whereas the Commonwealth Development Corporation has submitted a site plan for an undeveloped parcel number 200-007, I'm not going to read all that, zoned RM2. The proposed conceptual plan is for construction of 3 multifamily residential buildings with a common clubhouse located at 440 Spring Street, and whereas a duly noticed public meeting was held by the Planning Commission on March 3rd, 2026, in accordance with applicable laws and ordinances, during which public comment was solicited and considered, and whereas the Planning Commission has reviewed the proposed site plan and supporting materials and finds the plan to be consistent with the requirements and standards set forth in the Charlotte City Code, including but not limited to considerations of public health, safety, infrastructure capacity, site access, and compatibility with surrounding land uses. Now therefore be it resolved that the Charlotte Planning Commission hereby approves the site plan for construction of family apartments at 440 Spring Street as submitted by the Commonwealth Development Corporation. I do have a question, I guess, procedurally. Nowhere in this did it say this is a public hearing, so when are we supposed to solicit public comment? Now? Before? Did I miss a step?
Yeah, so it actually doesn't require a public hearing on this because this is a permitted use. So you are just reviewing the site plan for permitted use.
So when it says during which public comment was solicited, did we do that or did we not do that?
I believe it was written so that it's at a public meeting.
Okay.
This planning commission has met at a
So
public
if they
meeting.
want to come up during the earlier or later public comment commission or portion and say, I support this, I don't support this, they could. But failing that, there's no time designated within the procedure of the review and approval specifically for public comment.
That is correct. So the majority of this, again, just remember, is a planning commission. This is a permitted use, so you can't stop necessarily a permitted use. Now, you can have requirements for the things that you can control, but we're not trying to change the zoning ordinance here, such as the use of the property. It is a permitted use.
Questions, proposed amendments, ideas that you want to add in, or anything that you want to see in the site plan as part of the requirement here, or part of the approval? Okay, seeing none, we will go and we will take a roll call vote to approve the resolution as written. Yeah, I suppose
So move.
so moved, support.
Supported.
Snyder.
Okay, thank you. Snyder?
Yes.
Garrett?
Yes.
Bliven. Christensen,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Barrett,
Yes.
Hartwick, McCray.
Yes. Okay, the resolution is adopted. This is now the late public comment period. If there are people from the public who want to comment, please limit your presentation to 5 minutes. Address the commission, state your name and whether you're a resident of Charlotte. That period is open now.
Good evening. Just, I want to introduce myself, Vince Pastu, the interim city manager here. Just wanted to attend the meeting. I know you had worked with one of my former council members when I was in Monroe, John Icoangeli. He said very good things about the planning commission, very impressed with the way you conduct the business here tonight. And so I'll probably only be around for a couple more meetings, if that, until we find a permanent manager. But just wanted to say hello and say that I was very impressed with the conduct of your meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Late public comment? I know sometimes maybe there's somebody like in a blanket in the back or something. Come out at the last second. All right. Late public comment is closed. Commissioner comments. I think you had something to say.
Yeah, so I don't know how or what, Tiger, we can do to address some of these issues. I don't know if it's code enforcement or if we have to go to the county. I thought things were coming back to the city eventually. But I have some very huge concerns about some of the homes around the city. I don't want to call anybody out, but here we are live now. 417 East Shaw. That's a big concern. That is a garage slash shed type structure, and it's sitting on someone else's property, but the landlord is trying to refurbish it into using it as a rental, and they've been down there for the last week working on it.
I'll just quickly address it. There's a lot more to it,
Yeah,
and I've been looking into it.
Thank you.
But we're not going to address it here right now.
thank you. As long as you're aware, that's my concern. Pleasant and Shaw, that's another one, gray blue house. Same homeowner owns across the street here.
Nothing I'm aware of there, but again, the best course of action for all this stuff is to let us know
Okay,
of what's the concern is, and then we can address it from there.
okay. Yeah, there's, like I said, the structures are just caving in. I mean, it's scary.
And I will just add, just for peace of mind, I think we have 5 cases with the city attorney right now. The only reason we don't have more is because we don't have resolution on the 5 yet.
Okay.
When you say you have, if I may, Mr. Chair, when you say you have cases, what does that mean? You've asked the city attorney to draw up?
Yeah, we have buildings and houses that are, my definition should be a dangerous building. We just have to follow through with the legal side of that, but it takes time. One's very near to you, too.
See, and that was part of a concern. I mean, the ones, if you're putting people in there and you're living in that dwelling, that's a fear. So, that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Other commissioner comments? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Commission stands adjourned.
45 minutes, that was Zoom. You did?